It's the Holden versus Ford rivalry, or Ford versus Holden, depending on which side of the fence you're on. At its purest, it's the Australian Saloon Cars series, getting set for round one here at Wakefield Park Raceway. Chivas was a busy man in the dial before you dig Falcon. He'll be hoping to stay away from the phone this weekend, hopefully not needing to dial before he beached himself in the sand trap. The dial before you dig Falcons, the 41 car of Mark Primmer riding behind. The Chivas cameras up and down the field. Bevan Geary is going to get wrapped up here. That's going to cost him momentum. You can't go dropping wheels off. Oh, contact.
Chivas having big contact there. Hopefully no damage and they can continue on. No damage for that man.
Joining me now is Paul Newman from the not-for-profit organisation Dial Before You Dig. Now, Paul, what are the dangers involved and what's your advice to people cleaning up over the next few weeks?
Yeah, thanks, Laura. Look, our advice is if you're going to be planning any excavation, which obviously there's going to be a lot of that activity carrying out over the next, weeks and months, to ensure that you follow a process. And the key initiative here is to contact Dial Before You Dig, either over our website on www.1100.com.au or by calling us on the national number 1100.
I wanna say.
G'day there, it's Paul Harrigan here for the Tooheys New crew. Very exciting. Well, what an awesome day. Here we are at Cudgen Headland Surf Club in far northern New South Wales. We lost our beach through erosion, we lost our beach access. So what the Tooheys crew have done is they've given us the access to take rescue vehicles and rescue boats from the front of the club, which we can now put on the road. We've done a completely new storage area for this ever-growing surf club that needs more room for their surf rescue stuff. We've been able to pump a little bit. As you can see, the crew are still into it here. We're going to get the job done. The beach is coming back. The weather's great. The club's looking fantastic, and we're in a really good position.
Yeah, we've got Sam Milton on pole for this one. That's an unbelievable. Mark Primmer's best result of all time.
For the start, let's see how they go. Milton on pole position. Let's see what he can do with it. Bogs it down just a little bit, but on the second catch is able to just pull away. Of course, he's involved in his own battle at the moment too, which is going to make it a little bit tricky for Jamo.
Yeah, with Mark Primmer and Luke Westall battling it out ahead of him.
Can Primmer do? Does he close the gap? Well, in fact, he's timed it absolutely perfectly, hasn't he? Been able to shut the door and keep Westall back one spot at least for the moment.
And now we've got Tony Evangelou coming up on the back of them, so they've got to go through it all again.
Oh, you imagine the pressure they're under. You just imagine the work to do, and Milton sitting right behind him, and Good Dice is further back.
Yeah, this is Bernie Runnable and Wayne Patton in their respective Falcon and Commodore. Halfway through the championship series, Sean Jamieson leads the series from Lovell, Brown, Primmer, Milton in fifth.
Hello everyone, surfboat racing is back. Welcome to the Chic Hydro Ocean Thunder Series. We're at DY on Sydney's northern beaches. Look at the Dial Before You Dig weather conditions by co-commentator Sam Derrick. Swell, not big. The stage of the women's eliminators after the heat action. The box training from Bill Gola, the TYR boat from Allura, Surfbest Australia, the second of the Allura crews, and Dial Before You Dig from Cooks Hill up near Newcastle. Here's the story. We started the day with 24 boats in the men's. We're now down to 11. Second quarter final and 6 boats involved in this one. From Alley 1, Crefield's Digital Printing, Australian Cable Tray Systems, Dial Before You Dig, the national champ from Mona Vale. Full eye now. It's okay for Dial Before You Dig from Mona Vale, but for the crews further back, there are problems. To the men's first semi-final, 4 boats. Top 2 make it through. Crefield's Digital Printing from Lorne in Victoria. Dial Before You Dig from Mona Vale. Mona Vale crew, national champs Bryce Munro in charge there for Dial Before You Dig. And Bryce is also wearing the helmet cam here, showing us they pick up the rating right from the start and the work begins. We're looking at left to right here. In front would be Dial Before You Dig from Mona Vale in Alley 2, although South Maroubra now has moved up a little closer. Good with Matt Clymer. Mona Vale, Big Hope with Bryce Munro. Jeff Matthews sweeping the lawn crew, the Crefield's digital printing crew out in alley number 1. Now they hit these tricky little conditions over the sandbar here. There's a little bit of mayhem in the water.
Sandbar's going to hurt them here.
This is not straightforward, Sam.
They're pushing. The sweeps have to push the rowers. They're still rowing and get over this sandbar. It's going to be an interesting run up to the beach for them.
Top 2 will get through. Suddenly there's trouble for Manly. Mona Vale, dive before you dig. I reckon they're going to get first. Dive before you dig are into the final. Crefield's digital printing, the Victorians are there. This is the men's final. Not 1 lap, but 2. Yes, 2 more laps to go. Before you dig, the national champions, alley number 2.
Go Wes! Over! Over!
Yeah, you can hear Bryce Munro yelling at his boys, the sweep from Mona Vale. Oh, Mona Vale's picked up a wave. They can have a little bit of relax and they'll be savouring every single moment of this pause right now, Vossi. Mona Vale, they've got that sandbank which seems to be holding them back here. That must be so heavy, the oars on those guys.
Third, they're almost rowing in sync at the moment. The lawn crew and the Mona Vale crew in lane 2 and 3 are side by side before you dig, trying all they can, the national champs. But at the moment, they're just not making headway on our leaders. Second will go to the national champs. Dial before you dig from Mona Vale. Crews 1 and 2, Cudgen Water and Dial before you dig. Third, Crefield's digital printing from Lawn and Victoria.
Americans are crazy about cars and races. And NASCAR is a religion down there, NASCAR racing. Every weekend for about 40 weekends, there's a NASCAR race on Fox. And the viewership is between 6 and 13 million. In April, National Safe Digging Month, Shell painted the number 22 car with the 811 logo there on the bumper and on the side panel. In addition, their driver did a number of interviews on radio, speed radio and so on and so forth. And there's a way that companies measure how much time, and it's called media impression time, and they put a value to it. Shell gave us $6 million of media impressions in the month of April.
This will do, it'll take satellite flyovers, and as the satellites come over, there's a technology that I don't understand, but it can pull metallic objects out and identify metallic objects. And then there's a algorithm that's run to look at, is it a truck? Is it a metal shed? Is it or is it a piece of excavating equipment? If it's a piece of excavating equipment, what we do is grab the lat long from that satellite imagery and then tag it to, is there a valid ticket?
Racing, Don Surprise was very slow out of the machine, so too was Peep Salon, and getting back shortly after the break was all in time through the first couple of 100 metres, and the leader is the Grafton galloper, Just Elvis for Tony Patillo, led by a length and a quarter. Make that a length and a half on Pawato Velato in the centre. Pawato Velato and Just Elvis and Retune running on, and then Flying Archangel, Pawato Velato. They were a lovely ride by Patillo, and Pawato Velato went away to beat Retune third. Just Elvis or Peep Salon and Flying Archangel, and all in time flew late.
Time to go racing in the Australian Saloon Car Series, and while Matt Lovell's already wrapped up the championship, there's a great fight going on for second between Jeff Brown and Mark Primer. They're split by just 2 points.
We had a last few months in the workshop ready for this weekend, for this race, and we're all qualified all together, so it's going to be a very interesting race tomorrow.
The circuit itself makes for some good racing. Have you found yourself doing some quick times out there?
Yes, yeah, really good. Yeah, the car's turning right beautifully. The left is not quite so good. As long as no one knows that, I'll be right. But down to turn one is going to be my strong point here this weekend. I've been getting everybody on down the inside and surprising them.
What about next year? You got big plans for next year?
Yes, there is some Die Before You Dig plans coming up for next year for the series, and we're going to carry on with the 2 cars, and we're sort of in between drivers, a permanent driver, but we're sort of, business should be just as usual, but better.
We have heard from the protagonists fighting out second in the Australian Saloon Car Series. There are the points, and there's nothing between them. And
I'm talking about at the moment the 41 Die Before You Dig beast. Die Before You Dig coming on board for this series for next year as their major sponsor.
The cars going everywhere. They already are.
Speaking of which,
wow. High speed off. The 42 Die Before You Dig car is gone. Chivas is gone. And one of the VN Commodores, Tony McKenzie, off as well on the outside
cold
there.
tyres outside Siberia, not the way forward.
Mark Primer right in the thick of the action as always.
The action from further back in the field on this opening lap, and boy, oh boy, there was a lot of it.
So Denny Rumble in the second of the Die Before You Dig Falcons was involved. That level still takes out the Australian Saloon Car Series at the end of a very competitive season. Jeff Brown was in the thick of the action.